Hey y'all, how you doing? So I've played Destiny for about 8 years now, and I keep hearing that the New Light experience is a mess that leaves players overwhelmed or just lost. So I figured I'd hop on a fresh account and see what it's like, and maybe this video will give some people an idea of where they can start. I've already done the initial intro mission on this character, so I'll be starting at step 2 of learning light and step 5 of A Guardian Rises. If you're not already in the Cosmodrome, just select the steps landing zone and head that way. If you still have the learning light quest, you're going to want to do that one first, as it'll give you access to your first aspect and fragment for the subclass you're on. I didn't want that one. So if you're on this mission like I am, whether you like it or not, you're going to get Gunpowder Gamble first. Then to complete the mission, all you have to do is meditate at these wells of light. They will give you the buff Traveler's Favor, which you can see on the left. And while that buff is active, you can actually just spam your abilities. As you see in the bottom, my super charges up really fast, and it's actually right here where I realize I can spam grenades to clear out all the skunk in the way. Once you progress far enough in the mission, you'll get to this point where you'll be given your first fragment to go along with your aspect. After equipping it, just simply complete the mission and you'll be prompted to return to Shahan. After that, Shahan told me to continue A Guardian Rises. I'm on step 5, which involves clearing out a lost sector. That can be found on the map here, where you can track it and then follow the indicators. Then, after you climb up here, just head inside and clear out everything. Found a shader. After killing all the enemies and opening the chest in the middle, you'll be told to speak with Shah again. This time, whenever you talk to him, he's going to give you a kinetic scout rifle called the Night Watch with overflow and explosive payload. This is a good scout rifle for new players to hold on to because it can be used all the way up to in-game PvE content. At the same time, he's also going to give you the mission A Cold Boot. Try to get there without getting distracted by shiny stuff on the way, but you will need that eventually. Just follow the indicators until you get here and start the mission. The worst part about this is if you're an actual new light that hasn't pre-ordered Witch Queen, is you gotta walk for all that shit. Partway through the mission, the objective got bugged, so enjoy me running around for the next 8 minutes trying to figure out what's going on. And if you have the same problem, hopefully this will help you get around it. If not, feel free to skip to the time on the screen. Oh, it's because of its choice of payload, but way better than that blue hand.
This is Golden Age facility, lost during the collapse hundreds of years ago. It's amazing parts of it are still functioning.
Bro, I just wanted to proc overflow. This objective marker is broken. There should be a fucking gold chest up here though. That was Destiny 1. Maybe it's not here right now. Huh. So you can go this way, I think. It says get to the array. What? So that's weird. It's a bug, I think. Either that or I'm just dumb. I gotta remember how to get to the array, not to just run around. Yeah, we got a solid new light experience going so far. Here's the terrestrial complex. Here we go. Get out the way. So here's the array. At least in my experience, that's the array. But like that objective marker. Okay, yeah, complete. I think. I don't know. I'm like, this is the place. This is what you're supposed to be doing. That objective packet is almost good though. Don't know what's up. Why is it like this? What? Alright, I don't know what's going on with this shit. What the hell? I just came through here, bro. Yes, I know how to, but it should not be that. It should be something different. Anyway. Yeah, I just came through here. I'm like, what the fuck? Damn it. Hey, there we go.
You're blocked. Power fluctuations cause a lock.
All right, I'm on it.
Half an hour in, and this new light shit's buggy. So if you manage to make it through that mission, bugs and all, you'll be sent back to camp, where you'll be given a mission to go rescue Shahan, which will pop up on the map over here. Once you get there, just start the mission. After completing it, you'll return back to camp and talk to Shahan, where you'll be given a ship and told to go to the last city.
Stay low.
I'm glad you finally get to
On over here.
see why we're here.
Once you get to the tower, follow the objective markers around and talk to everyone until you get to Ikora over here.
She leads the tower's warlock.
This is the person you're going to talk to upgrade all your light abilities for each of your light subclasses. Everything in here is sold for Glimmer, but when you're just starting out, you're not going to have enough to unlock everything, so be mindful of what you get, that way you can put a build together early.
The experienced in the Cosmotron. How you witnessed the true death of the Guardian Maeve at the hands of the High Wizard Navoda. And how you were guided by what remained of the light from Maeve's ghost. All Guardians, at one time or another. Good luck.
How to deal with my light abilities. Talk to director.
What's up, hero?
Also, as you can see here, while I'm still going through the Guardian Rises quest, I've got a Grow Your Light tip that won't go away at the bottom of my screen. If you run into this problem, just go back to Ikora and harass her a little bit, as you'll see me do here in a second, and it should make it go away.
I must have lost track of time.
Dude.
Welcome.
There we go. Thank you.
Our sit.
After talking to everyone, you'll be told to go back to Zavala, who will tell you to launch a strike, which can now be accessed via the director screen. After completing the strike, you'll return to the tower and talk to Zavala to finish out the quest and get the XP for it. As you can see here, I progressed a Spark of Hope, which is another quest you want to do fairly early on, as it gives you a very strong primary exotic weapon called Risk Runner. At this point, I was able to buy the healing grenade, some more fragments, and the Blade Barrage Super using Ember of Torches, I believe, and the knock 'em down aspect. You're able to throw infinite knives as long as you get a kill with your knife. And this is just an easy thing to set up early in the game. It doesn't take any other mods. It's just one fragment, one aspect, and you have infinite throwing knives. So for a Spark of Hope, you have to go talk to Devram in the church, and after you make your way up here to him, he is going to tell you to clear out a lost sector. Luckily, there's one right below him down here in the bottom of the church, so you can just go right back down and drop down in this little hole over here and clear out all the enemies once you're inside. Then after that, you're going to want to make your way back up to Devram and talk to him again, where he is going to give you a mission called Risk Reward as part of the Spark of Hope quest. But before doing that mission, I recommend stopping by the helm, as right now during Season of the Plunder, there is a chest that will boost your character up to 1540. It gives you Thunderlord, no matter what class you're on. If you're running Hunter like I am, you get Liar's Handshake, as you can see here. And I recommend doing this before the Risk Reward mission, because I personally didn't, and whenever I went in there, all the enemies were above my level. It wasn't really too much of a challenge, but if you just want to make the mission as easy as possible, grab all these pieces of gear here and equip pretty much whatever you feel like using, and that way the enemies in the mission should be at your level at least, or below it. Then once you're ready to start the Risk Reward mission, it can be found in the Cosmodrome, and you can launch it directly from the screen here. You don't even have to go to the Cosmodrome. Towards the end of the mission, you'll be given this exotic and an opportunity to try it out against some enemies. It's a really good SMG that's useful even all the way up to Grandmaster content, especially whenever Overload SMG is featured in the artifact. After finishing the mission, you'll want to return to Zavala to collect your XP again.
Stay sharp.
Okay. At this point, with Risk Runner and a full set of gear at 1540, I felt like it was a pretty good time to start the Witch Queen campaign. Even if you don't have Witch Queen, you should still start it. That way you'll unlock the Enclave, which is what gives you access to crafting. That way you'll be able to make weapons exactly how you want to once you unlock the patterns for them. After that mission, you'll be brought right back to the Enclave, where you're given the crafting introduction quest.
I should have seen it.
After that mission, I also finished the objectives I needed to unlock Arcstrider, so I made another trip to the tower. Remember, you'll have to go into your menu and interact with the subclass before you can purchase any abilities for it from Ikora. The good thing about starting out with Liar's Handshake is you don't actually need that much to make the Arc subclass work for most content, since Liar's Handshake will heal you every time you activate Cross Counter, and the subclass supports itself whenever you're using the melee and dodge combo. After that, I noticed I had access to the intro mission for the season, so I decided to start that. That way I would be able to get my seasonal artifact and start unlocking mods to deal with champions, and also working towards my power bonus. As I mentioned earlier, Ember of Torches and Knock 'em Down will allow you to throw infinite knives as long as you can get a kill with your knife, and there's nothing else needed to keep this going. I also recommend unlocking Gambler's Dodge, that way if you don't get a kill you can get your knife back instantly. I also went for the Healing Grenade to help me stay alive, just because it's going to be a while before I'm able to put together any kind of build with decent stats. It's really all I'm doing with the Solar subclass is trying to make up for a lack of stats in getting my abilities back. I also unlocked the Blade Barrage Super because it has good burst damage and it's just significantly easier to use in PvE because it's a simple fire and forget super, unlike Golden Gun, which has a lot more setup to do good damage. For the Arc subclass, Spark of Resistance was the first fragment I went for because, as I mentioned earlier, the subclass stands up pretty well on its own, especially whenever you're given Liar's Handshake. Spark of Resistance will just help you stay alive that much more often. After completing the first seasonal mission, I figured it was a good time to go do the first run of Dares of Eternity. And for this run, I equipped the Enigma Glaive from the crafting quest earlier, just that way so that I could finish up my Void quest to unlock the Void subclass. It's also worth mentioning here that I believe only the projectiles count as void damage. The actual melee hits with the glaive shouldn't progress your void damage objectives. And after completing one run of dares, I was able to add this cherry on top of my build. So now Arc is pretty set and ready to go. Then here you can see I went back to the tower and sacrificed all my materials to Raoul for more glimmer because I'm a new light and I have no fragments. And before heading over to Ikora, I stopped by Banshee to grab some mods because he happened to be selling minor and major spec today.
Quickly, friend.
After that run of dares, I was able to unlock the Void subclass. You always have to go into the menu for some reason to be able to interact with it at Ikora. I recommend getting Gambler's Dodge pretty quick for this subclass because the smoke bomb is incredibly useful. Triple jump's fine. I also recommend grabbing Vortex Grenade. It just seems to be one of the better ones to use in PvE. That could just be my personal opinion though.
Then take it.
For your aspects and fragments, I recommend grabbing both of the available aspects because Stylish Executioner can be good, but until you have a build to sustainably activate it, I don't personally find that much use out of it.
Carry the light with
Always remember to meditate after unlocking any upgrades with Ikora. Also, if you're not able to access the fragments, make sure that you meditate and then equip an aspect because it won't let you. For my fragments on Void, I went for Echo of Starvation and Echo of Persistence, again just to make up for a lack of stats, hopefully to keep me alive and help me get out of a sticky situation until I'm able to get a better build together. But after a 4-hour play session, I feel like I've got a pretty good starting point, or at least something usable on all 3 of the light subclasses, and I've got most of the intro stuff out of the way. My character is pretty much free to start whatever campaign or quest I feel like now. I've got good enough gear to accomplish any of them, even a dungeon if I get a solid team together. So I'm gonna end the video here today. If this helped you out at all, or you want to know what I would prioritize next, or maybe you don't play Hunter, you want to see a different class and how I would start out on them, just comment down below, let me know. Drop a like on the video if it helped you out at all, and appreciate you checking it out, especially if you made it this far. Peace.